He has not confessed to authorities. He is not cooperating. But all the people around him are cooperating. We can confirm that his roommate was indeed a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female, and that he is cooperating with authorities.
Absolutely. It's so good to be with you. And you're right. My personal feelings and relationship with Charlie, I have a job to do for the American people, and I'm committed to do it for President Trump. We flexed all resources the FBI had and surged multiple air assets as soon as this shooting occurred.
Okay, so this is absolutely one of the wildest stories that has come out of Trump's administration, and it shows you exactly how deep the corruption and the lawlessness goes inside Trump's government. When the people Trump trusts most are caught doing things that are completely illegal and completely indefensible. A federal judge has just issued a stunning and devastating order for an urgent investigation into Kash Patel, who is Trump's FBI director, after he was caught in court attempting to remove or hide critical evidence like emails and notes and internal documents that link Trump's team to illegal firings of FBI agents, to revenge campaigns against people who have criticized Trump, and to investigations into Russia, classified documents, Epstein ties, and all sorts of other criminal activity that Trump's administration does not want the world to know about. The judge absolutely slammed Patel's actions as obstruction of justice and as a cover-up, and imposed serious sanctions on him and threatened to charge him with criminal contempt of court if he does not comply with the orders to produce all the documents that he has been hiding from the courts and from investigators. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. We'll send the news straight to your inbox every day. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us. Be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video. This is the kind of moment that really shows you that Trump's entire administration is rotten to the core, and that the people Trump has put in positions of power are willing to break the law and willing to obstruct justice in order to protect Trump and in order to cover up his crimes and his misconduct. Kash Patel is the FBI director. He is supposed to be the top law enforcement official overseeing the entire Federal Bureau of Investigation. He is supposed to be committed to the rule of law and to the Constitution and to the idea that nobody is above the law.
Director Patel, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
When you were here for your confirmation, we talked about your so-called enemies list. It appears to me that there have been adverse actions of various kinds taken against about 20 of the 60 people on your enemies list. You've been in office for 7 months. At that rate, you've got 14 months until you've hit all 60. Can you explain that?
Again, that is an entirely inaccurate presupposition. I do not have an enemies list. You can continue to characterize it as you wish. The only actions we take, generally speaking, for personnel at the FBI are ones based on merit and qualification and your ability to uphold your constitutional duty. You fall short, you don't work there anymore.
But instead, Patel is caught removing documents and hiding evidence and potentially lying to Congress under oath and doing all sorts of things that are fundamentally incompatible with being the FBI director. When the person who is supposed to lead the FBI and oversee law enforcement is himself breaking the law and obstructing justice, it tells you that the entire system of justice inside Trump's administration is completely compromised, and that Trump has essentially turned the FBI into a tool for his own personal use and for protecting his own interests. The federal judge's order is absolutely damning, and the language that the judge used is really scathing. The judge described Patel's actions as a cover-up and made it absolutely clear that the judge believes Patel is trying to hide evidence from the courts. The judge threatened criminal contempt charges, which means the judge is saying that if Patel continues to refuse to produce documents, or if Patel continues to lie to the court about what documents exist and what happened to them, the judge will charge Patel with criminal contempt, and he could potentially face jail time for his refusal to comply with the court's orders. The judge ordered Patel to immediately produce all of the hidden materials that he has been trying to keep away from prosecutors and investigators. This is a huge deal because it shows that the courts are not going to tolerate this kind of obstruction and cover-up from even the highest-ranking officials in Trump's administration. The evidence against Patel is absolutely overwhelming. In court documents, Patel admitted that he approved illegal firings of FBI agents, even though he knew that these firings were unlawful and violated federal law, protecting federal employees from retaliation and from being fired for political reasons. Patel admitted that he approved these firings because Trump was demanding revenge against agents who had been involved in the Russia investigation, or in the classified documents investigation, or in other investigations that reflected badly on Trump. This is textbook illegal retaliation, and this is exactly the kind of thing that federal law is designed to prevent. Trump wanted revenge against FBI agents who had done their jobs and investigated him, and Patel was willing to abuse his power as FBI director to give Trump what he wanted, even though doing so was clearly illegal and clearly violated the law. Prosecutors have revealed that Patel lied to Congress under oath. When he was asked about these firings, Patel went before Congress and said things about why these agents were fired that were not truthful and that were designed to cover up the real reason they were fired, which was Trump's demand for revenge. This opens Patel up to perjury charges and to conspiracy charges because he is not just lying to the court and to investigators, he is also lying to Congress while under oath, which is a serious federal crime. Security logs from the FBI building showed that Patel was accessing files related to the investigation just before investigators arrived to collect evidence. This creates an inference that Patel was trying to destroy or hide evidence before the investigators could get to it. When you combine all of these facts together, you get a picture of an FBI director who is so loyal to Trump that he is willing to break the law and obstruct justice and lie under oath in order to protect Trump and protect Trump's interests. Let's really dig into what happened here with Patel and what his actions tell us about the state of the federal government and the state of law enforcement under Trump's administration, because there is a lot of important context here that helps explain how we got to the point where the FBI director is being investigated by a federal judge for obstruction of justice and document removal. Kash Patel came into the FBI under interesting circumstances. He was not a career FBI agent. He came from a background in political circles and in Trump's inner circle. Trump appointed him as FBI director because Trump trusted him and because Trump believed that Patel would be loyal to him above all else, above the law, above the Constitution, above his oath as FBI director. And it turns out that Trump's calculation was correct in the most damning possible way, because Patel has indeed shown himself to be completely loyal to Trump and willing to abuse his power as FBI director in order to serve Trump's interests rather than serve the interests of justice or serve the interests of the American people. The illegal firings that Patel approved are a perfect example of how Trump's administration operates. There are FBI agents, these are career federal employees who have been doing their jobs, conducting investigations into various matters that the law requires them to investigate. Some of these agents were involved in the Russia investigation into Trump's connections to Russia. Some of these agents were involved in the classified documents investigation into Trump's mishandling of classified materials. These are serious investigations that are important to national security and important to the integrity of the rule of law. But Trump did not like being investigated. Trump did not like the fact that these FBI agents were doing their jobs and following the evidence wherever it led. Trump wanted revenge. Trump wanted these agents fired. Trump wanted to send a message to the FBI and to the Justice Department that if they investigate Trump or his people, there will be consequences. So Trump turned to Patel and said, I want these agents fired. And Patel, being the loyal subordinate that he is, set about finding ways to make that happen. Patel approved the firings, even though both he and the agents involved knew that the firings were illegal and violated federal law protecting federal employees from retaliation and from being fired for political reasons. Federal law has a statute that protects federal employees from being fired in retaliation for whistleblowing or for doing their jobs in ways that might displease their political superiors. These agents' firings clearly violated that statute because the agents were being fired in retaliation for conducting investigations into Trump and his associates. When Patel approved these firings, he was violating federal law and he was abusing his power as FBI director. He knew he was breaking the law. The agents knew they were being fired illegally. But Patel did it anyway because Trump wanted it done and because Patel's loyalty to Trump overrode his commitment to the law and to the Constitution. When Congress asked Patel about these firings, Patel lied under oath. He gave testimony that was not truthful, and that was designed to obscure the real reason the agents were fired. Instead of admitting that the agents were fired in retaliation for their investigative work, Patel came up with pretexts and excuses and reasons that had nothing to do with the actual motivation for the firings. This is classic obstruction of justice. This is exactly the kind of thing that prosecutors charge people with when they are trying to cover up crimes and trying to keep the truth hidden from the courts and from Congress. Patel's perjury is particularly serious because Patel is not just an ordinary person lying under oath. Patel is the FBI director. Patel is supposed to be the embodiment of integrity and commitment to the law. When the FBI director lies under oath to Congress, it fundamentally undermines the credibility of the entire FBI and the entire Justice Department. The security logs that showed Patel accessing files right before investigators arrived are also really damaging to Patel because they suggest that Patel was actively trying to destroy or hide evidence. When you are a subject of an investigation, or when you know that investigators are coming to collect evidence, and you suddenly start accessing files related to that investigation right before the investigators arrive, that creates a reasonable inference that you are trying to destroy the evidence or hide it. This is called consciousness of guilt. This is the kind of behavior that makes prosecutors believe you are guilty of something, because innocent people do not suddenly start accessing files and then destroying them right before investigators arrive. Innocent people cooperate with investigators and let them see whatever documents they need to see. But Patel's behavior, accessing files right before investigators arrive, strongly suggests that Patel was trying to hide something and trying to keep evidence away from the investigators. The judge's response to all of this was absolutely appropriate. The judge looked at what Patel did and said, "This looks like obstruction of justice, and this looks like a cover-up, and I am going to order an immediate investigation, and I am going to impose sanctions on Patel, and I am going to threaten him with criminal contempt if he does not comply with my orders to produce all of the documents that he has been hiding." This is the kind of judicial response that is necessary when high-ranking officials in the government are breaking the law and trying to cover up crimes. The judge understood that Patel's actions went to the heart of the integrity of the judicial system and the ability of the courts to access evidence and to administer justice fairly. If the FBI director can remove documents and hide evidence whenever he wants to, then the entire system of justice breaks down, because judges cannot know whether they are seeing all the relevant evidence or whether the government is hiding documents that would be favorable to defendants or that would show that the government engaged in misconduct. The broader context of Patel's tenure as FBI director also matters here. Active and retired FBI agents have been very critical of Patel. A scathing report compiled by FBI leadership described Patel as insecure and as being in over his head. The agents said that Patel does not have the experience or the temperament to be the FBI director, and that he is more interested in protecting Trump and serving Trump's political interests than he is in protecting the Bureau and protecting the integrity of law enforcement. This kind of criticism coming from inside the FBI itself tells you that Patel is not respected by the career professionals in the Bureau, and that there is real concern about his fitness for the job. When the FBI director does not have the respect of the career professionals in the FBI, that is a sign that something is seriously wrong, and that morale inside the Bureau is probably in the gutter. Trump has apparently been frustrated with Patel because of the unflattering headlines that Patel has generated since taking over the FBI. Trump does not like bad press, and he does not like his appointees being criticized in the media. So there have been reports that Trump has been weighing whether to fire Patel and replace him with someone more compliant or someone who can generate better headlines. This is the ultimate irony. Trump appointed Patel thinking he would be absolutely loyal to Trump, but now Trump is unhappy with Patel and is considering firing him because Patel is generating bad press. But what Trump does not seem to understand is that Patel is generating bad press because Patel is breaking the law and obstructing justice and lying to Congress. You cannot fix that problem by firing Patel and appointing someone else. You need to actually follow the law and actually respect the Constitution and actually commit to the rule of law. But that is apparently not something that Trump or his administration understand or are willing to do. Here is what all of this really means for Trump and for his presidency and for the state of the federal government. What we are seeing with Kash Patel is a perfect microcosm of everything that is wrong with Trump's administration and everything that shows how completely corrupted Trump's government has become. The FBI director is supposed to be a nonpartisan law enforcement official who is committed to protecting the Constitution and enforcing the law fairly and impartially. But Patel has shown himself to be a partisan operative who is willing to abuse his power and break the law in order to serve Trump's personal interests. This is fundamentally incompatible with being an FBI director. This is fundamentally incompatible with serving in any position of public trust. The fact that Patel was caught removing documents and hiding evidence and then lying about it under oath shows that Trump's administration is operating at a level of lawlessness that is basically unheard of in modern American government. We are talking about the FBI director obstructing justice. We are talking about the person who is supposed to lead law enforcement engaging in conduct that would get any normal person charged with serious crimes. The fact that Patel apparently felt comfortable doing this suggests that there is an entire culture of lawlessness inside Trump's administration, where people believe they can break the law without consequences because Trump will protect them and because the normal rules do not apply to them. This scandal is also going to accelerate the erosion of GOP support for Trump because Republican members of Congress are going to have to decide whether they want to continue defending Trump and continue being associated with an administration where the FBI director is being investigated for obstruction of justice. Some Republicans might try to stick with Trump and defend Patel, but other Republicans are going to look at this situation and decide that they need to distance themselves from Trump because the scandals are getting bigger and bigger and the conduct is getting more and more egregious. The more that comes out about Patel and about how he abused his power as FBI director, the harder it is going to be for Republicans to defend Trump and to defend Patel without looking like they are defending lawlessness and obstructing justice themselves. The implications for Trump's other nominees and for his ability to fill positions in the federal government are also significant. If Patel, who is the FBI director and one of Trump's most trusted advisors, is being investigated for obstruction of justice and lying under oath, what does that tell you about Trump's judgment in picking people for positions of power? It tells you that Trump is choosing people based on loyalty rather than based on competence and based on commitment to the law. This is going to make it harder for Trump to get his other nominees confirmed by the Senate because senators are going to be concerned that Trump is nominating people who are going to abuse their power and break the law just like Patel did. The Patel scandal is also going to fuel MAGA infighting and divisions inside Trump's base because some Trump supporters are going to defend Patel no matter what, while other Trump supporters are going to look at the evidence that Patel broke the law and are going to demand that Trump fire him. This kind of infighting weakens Trump and weakens the Republican Party because it shows that there is no unified message coming out of Trump's camp and that Trump supporters cannot even agree on basic questions like whether the FBI director should be breaking the law and obstructing justice. What Patel's scandal really demonstrates is that Trump's administration has completely lost its moral and legal compass. The people who Trump has put in power are willing to break the law and obstruct justice and lie under oath in order to protect Trump and serve Trump's interests. This is not the kind of government that can function for very long. This is not the kind of government that can command the respect of the American people or the respect of the career professionals inside the federal government who are supposed to be serving the public interest. This is a government that is in the process of complete moral and legal collapse, and that is heading toward crisis and catastrophe if things do not change dramatically and very soon. The judge's order for an investigation and the threats of criminal contempt are just the beginning of what is going to be a long series of legal and political consequences for Patel and for Trump for allowing this kind of lawlessness to happen inside the FBI.